Now, I have given you some of the differences between Islamic financing and then the traditional or conventional financing. But let's dive deeper a little and talk about some of them basically here. So what are the key differences? If Bank of Ghana finishes with this framework by the end of this year, hopefully, and maybe next year they start this, what is going to be the difference between conventional financing? I need money to buy a delivery van for my company. I go to the bank and I want a loan, or I undertake a financial instrument involving Islamic finance. What is the difference? Number one is the basis of profit. In the conventional financing, the bank make profit by lending the money to you and charging interest on it. So in conventional financing, there is interest, riba, on the loans or the debt that the company gives to you. But in Islamic financing, as we said, it's about profit sharing, trading, leasing, relating to a real asset. So the basis of profit is not about interest, but the basis of profit is about sharing the profit, trading, or leasing fees which are related to specific assets. And we'll get deeper into this in a moment as we proceed. Number two is the relationship. In the conventional finance environment, the relationship is about a credit and debtor relationship, or a creditor and debtor relationship. Why? The bank is going to see you as a debtor because you owe the bank, and you're going to see the bank as a creditor because you owe the bank. So it's a creditor-debtor relationship. But when we come to Islamic financing, it's not about creditor or debtor relationship. It can be either partner-partner relationship, seller-buyer relationship, lessor or lessee relationship. And it will all depend on the type of Islamic finance instrument that you opt for. And we're going to see the types or models available under the Islamic finance tools in a moment. But that is the second thing. It could be partner-partner, seller-buyer, or lessee versus lessor. 3, risk. Under conventional finance, the risk is transferred entirely to the borrower. Like I said earlier, if you go to the bank, borrow money, and use the money to buy things, and something happens, maybe a flood, fire, destroys everything, the bank doesn't care. The bank will still demand you pay them the money they've lent to you plus the interest. So the bank is still going to be taking their money. So when it comes to risks in conventional finance, it is entirely borne by the borrower. But that is not what Islamic finance is going to bring. Under Islamic finance, as we mentioned, risk is shared between the parties. And we'll come back to this as well in a moment. The risk will usually be shared between the parties. So it is no longer you, the borrower, who will bear all the risks associated with the project. Partly, the provider of the finance may be bearing the risk, or some of the risks. Then 4, focus. Under conventional banking or conventional financing, maximizing profit through monetary transaction. So that's their focus. So the bank is there to take depositors' fund and part of their own capital and give it out as a loan, and what they make from is through that money transaction. That's their focus. But in Islamic financing, as we said, profitability linked to real economic activity, which is ethics and gives social benefit. That is the fourth thing we must understand. So in Islamic financing, it's not about, hey, how do we maximize our profit on the loans we give? No, it's about, okay, how do we make profit from the real activities that we have undertaken? That is the idea about focus. Then the key instruments. Under conventional banking, there is nothing like, it's either you are taking a loan or it's a bond. And the interest rate could be fixed or variable. Asa? So you go to the bank, you said, I want a loan. Okay. It's either they would set a fixed interest rate for you over the term of the loan, or it will be a variable interest rate, which means that it could be pegged against the policy rate of the central bank or paired against the inflation rate of the country. So in that case, you are going to be having a variable interest rate. But under Islamic financing, there are various instruments available, and you would decide which one you want to go for based on what you want to buy. So we will get into these in a moment, but we have Murabaha, Ijara, Musharaka, Mudaraba, and then Sukuk or Sukuk, depending on the school you attended and the one who taught you how to pronounce things. But these are the differences, if you want, that we can talk about in respect of the conventional banking and then the Islamic finance. So if you pay attention closely, you will then realize that it will be beneficial to use Islamic financing than the conventional finance. Yeah, it is. And so somebody would then ask, why did it take Ghana a long time before, we could introduce this? Yeah, because, it is something that is developing. As I mentioned earlier, this is really dominated in the Islamic regions, right? The United Arab Emirates, the Qatars, the Saudi Arabias. Yeah, this is where, because it's their religion, right? So it's there. Now, sometimes the Islamic finance is also called Abrahamic finance, right? But really, it is dipping in the Islamic religion. So they are using it. So, but then now it is transitioning a little bit, coming into Europe, and Nigeria uses it, right? Because, to some extent, Nigeria is also predominantly having a lot of Muslims there. So the Nigeria government even has used some of these tools, especially Sukuk, to finance a lot of infrastructure projects. And so now Ghana is at that point that we are transitioning into bringing Islamic finance, and it is going to help a lot businesses as well as even the government, especially using the Sukuk instrument, and we'll get into this in a moment, to raise finance for its capital projects that it wants to undertake, because there are a lot of capital projects that this government wants to undertake. So from a central government's perspective, government is going to be using some of these tools itself. Then on business perspective, because of these differences between risk allocation, profit, the focus, the nature of the contract, many businesses would want to be interested in Islamic finance rather than the conventional finance. So these are the differences we must understand when we talk about the conventional finance and Islamic finance.